Hi. This is the Natural Rights Sangha Sunday meeting for Sunday, September 13th. I had to check the calendar. I'm so not caring about dates right now. Can you see behind me? Take a look. There's supposed to be blue skies and sunshine out there today. Instead, there is a severely unhealthy level of fog. Fog? No, smoke where I live. The west coast of the United States is in a really weird time right now. If people didn't believe in climate change before, wakey, guys. My friends in Portland are in danger of fire. A guy I really respect, the guy who was the president of my high school class and also a generous, wonderful person as a high schooler and since I met him for lunch a few years ago and saw he was basically the same guy, except a little bit older. His house was burned down totally by a fire down in Oregon. My friends in Portland are worried about the fires hitting their homes in the middle of the city. It's an interesting time. Great time to live by the precepts, I must say. But let's do our meditation. We'll start with meditation every week, so let's sit up straight. Relax, fingers together in some way, feet comfortable. Back erect, but not painfully so. And let's meditate. Set your timer, please, for 10 minutes or 12 minutes. Whatever you set it for, just set your timer and we'll start meditating here. Oops. I almost forgot to use the gong. I have Dave's gong here. Ready? So with the gong, let's start to meditate. And then when you come out of meditation, turn this back on, and I'll start the gong again, and then we'll do the rest of the meeting. So it's focusing on the breath, in and out, through the nose. If thoughts come, let them go. Say thinking. Don't follow it, don't build on it, just let them go. Certain things are timeless. This week, I went for a health checkup. I'm a U.S. Army veteran and I have VA healthcare. And I went to the VA clinic for my annual check, which has been rescheduled due to COVID and all this other stuff. But I'm not severely ill with anything, so I'm not a huge problem for them. And they wanted to give me a vaccine, shingles vaccine. And I said, "What's in it?" And they weren't sure. And I said, "Well, I'll research it and see if I want to take it or not." And she kind of questioned me, and I said, I've learned enough not to trust any vaccine without checking it out first. And then she went and printed off a sheet of information about the vaccine. And as vaccines go, I didn't immediately see anything too horrible in this one, but I still held off until I can do more research. And she said, it is very painful. And I said, yeah, I know. I heard about it from a good friend. One of our board members, in fact, just experienced this a few months ago. Lasted a long time. It was horribly painful. He said, regrettably, at the end of the whole thing, he found a medicine which relieved much of the pain. And I said, cool, I'm glad you finally found it. Now you know it for me too, if I need it. And I asked him, hey, they want me to take the shingles vaccine. Should I take it? And he said, no. I said, don't take any vaccine. I said, what about the horrible pain? He says, don't take the vaccine. Now I know medicine that'll stop the pain anyway. He said, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. That despite that pain, he still didn't trust the vaccines. But the nurse went off to get some other stuff, and I quickly responded to a text from still another Natural Rights Sangha board member I was in contact with that day. And she came back, and I was reading my phone, and I turned to her and I said, yeah, I have friends who really don't think vaccines are a good idea. And then I said, and my friend is especially worried about the one they're coming up with for the coronavirus. And the nurse, who was a pretty middle-aged woman, looked like every nurse should look probably, she went like this, and she said, I'm not taking that COVID one either, not right away. And I said, why? Thinking, even her, And she said, it's not being tested well enough. It's not going through the regular time trials or anything. And I'm afraid the first people to take it will be the real guinea pigs on this one. And I went, whoa, okay. She says, yeah, I'll take it 2 years down the line once they've worked out the kinks in it. And I went, okay. So that came straight from a medical person. Okay. And so that certainly caught my attention. And I wanted to share that with you. But with these times now, being what they are, I thought it'd be nice just to quickly review the precepts. Because in this time, in these hard times especially, the precepts are a great thing to fall back on. Now, if we can fall back on our knowledge that this world is an illusion and that everything is all that is, and we are part of all that is, and we can reside in that place, then that's all we need. But for those of us who don't always find that place there, in other words, we're not always in Sahaja Samadhi, which is the huge majority of us, then the precepts are a great way to hold somewhere good, and I say good knowing it's a relative word, to hold somewhere good and strong in the meantime. So the precepts, at all times I endeavor to refrain from harming any living being. My hardest time is with mosquitoes on this one. And they're landing on me and wanting to suck my blood. I do not like that. The second is never to take something which is not freely offered by another. Not even, oh, they won't mind. I'm sure it'll be okay. No, make sure it's okay. This relates to assumptions, yes? Yeah. To speak and listen mindfully, without lies, slander, and gossip, and to never take any person's words, instructions, or prescriptions as true or meaningful without careful consideration. Anybody, any authority figure, any person trying to give you advice or telling you stuff, especially or including me, okay, anybody telling you stuff, never believe them without looking into your mind and heart and figuring out whether it's right or not. I'm about to sneeze. That's the smoke in the air. Excuse me. Oh, the smoke here is ferocious. It's like I say, Port Angeles has worse smoke than Portland, and Portland has the worst smoke of any big city in America. So, not good. Now, the next precept is to avoid unnecessary suffering by living without assumptions and expectations of others or myself as much as possible. Now, though that comes straight from the Four Agreements of Don Miguel Ruiz, I give him full credit for those, although they are inherent to many other things too. He put them explicitly and wonderfully in his book, The Four Agreements. And as you know, I often call the Four Immeasurables the Four Agreements because they're both four and they're on my mind a lot. But how many times have assumptions and expectations kicked us in the butt? If they all happened at once to me, I wouldn't be able to sit for quite a while. All the kicks that would be landing. Okay, so, but we've discussed this in other places, and of course we have playlists, one at our YouTube website, one with the expectations, and one with the the precepts, and one with possibilities, and one with the Sunday meetings. But okay, the next precept. To maintain a healthy body and to engage in proper sexual activities, that is, I have sex only with other consenting adults. This is a weird one when we have a president who partied with a confirmed pedophile like Jeffrey Epstein. Actually, we have two presidents who partied with him, but what's weird is what's interesting and possibly hopeful is I watched the show called Filthy Rich, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, and it was a 4-episode thing about him and his life and his criminal doings. And Bill Clinton flew with Epstein and hung around with Epstein some, but one young woman who was an underage teen when she was with Epstein said that the only time Epstein didn't abuse her was when Bill Clinton was with him. She flew with Epstein and Clinton to Africa on some sort of mission, apparently for the Clinton Foundation or something. And at that time, Epstein kept hands off and didn't abuse her at all. But before, Clinton was with Epstein, and after, he was a total bastard. So just a little aside there. But at least no one's come out and said that Clinton was partaking of young underage girls like Epstein and apparently Trump were. The list of women who were then underage who have filed suit against Trump and been paid off is quite long. And to maintain a healthy body, as we've said before, exercise some, eat well, follow the precepts, which will keep you with a positive attitude, which is very helpful. My friends with their anti-vaccination say if you keep your immune system strong, you don't need the vaccines. Well, that's probably true, but then other people would counter, even those guys get sick, and then their immune system is compromised. But okay, moving onward. Next precept: never consume, inject, allow, apply, or take anything, natural or man-made, into or onto my body that I believe could result in injury, to damage to myself or others, in physical, social, or civil harm or abridgment of rights, in heavy intoxication, in highness to the point of inability to function, in passing out, in blacking out, or in falling victim to unmindful or non-caring persons or entities. Yeah. I could talk a week about this one, but I won't. We've talked a lot about it already, and it's on the Precepts sessions also, so I will just leave that one for now. I mention it all the time in various ways. Next, to assist the old, the physically and mentally infirm, the less strong, and the young, to protect them from abuse and other harm, and to foster warmth and good humor with all. Okay, this, again, sometimes there can be a conflict between protection of people and not harming people, because if a bully is harming someone or someone is acting illegally towards another, and you stop them, it might portend you harming them in some way. And it's your judgment where the fine line lays. Of course, we want to do minimal harm to whoever we have to subdue in order to save someone else's life or save them from serious injury. You know, that is, of course, very, very important. You know, so at the very least, we try that. You know, to respect all traditions and paths, as each can and has led some to truth, to oneness, to the divine, however it be phrased. Absolutely. Almost every path has led someone to the truth. Now, I'm not talking about New Age gurus who just popped up in the last year or 5 years or 10 years or even 20 years. Some of them are absolutely full of prunes and they're absolutely gobsmacked, and anyone who found enlightenment while with them would do it by accident or because they ignored what they were saying, or that somehow what they said they misunderstood and they got something right which the other person hadn't even said and got it as a result. Okay, but all traditions and paths, which are, you know, I'm talking about Buddhism, Sufism, Christianity, Hinduism, all of Judaism, all of these paths have led some to truth, to oneness. You can't say that some Native Americans weren't realized. You cannot say that some tribesmen up in the mountains of Asia farming in hilltops aren't naturally realized in some way. Even the Buddhist monks in Thailand would say, you go to a village and you talk to someone who's never been in school, never heard the Dharma, you tell them the truth, and you come back 2 or 3 years later, and this person is a fully realized person plowing his field. This person doesn't know how to express it, but he or she is there. And the Buddhist monk fully recognizes this. They don't have the words to express it, but they're there. So the words to express it really don't mean anything for them. Now, it'd be nice if they shared it with others, but boy, this smoke is giving me sneezes and a runny nose. I'm sorry about all this. But Nisargadatta said that 3 years of reciting what his master said was enough to bring him to the truth. So again, to say there's no doership involved is a misnomer, it's a mistake. But then later on to realize that the doership was really not yours is also not a mistake. And the last precept is to exercise generosity and compassion towards all living things, including myself, and towards our planet, which ties back up to harm nothing, no one, no living thing. And generosity and compassion. Lincoln said a wonderful thing once. He often had situations where he'd get a letter from a mother, and the mother would say, "My son fell asleep on guard duty, and I'm sorry, sir, but he's always been a sleepy boy. And now they're going to execute him for dereliction of duty. Can you please help me?" And Lincoln sent a letter to one commander saying, let's give the boy extra duty during daytime and put him to hard work otherwise. But I think he can do more for the Union above ground than below ground. Well, that was Lincoln. And they talked about cheaters and frauds who would rip off government programs and things. So why do the program at all? And Lincoln would say, it's going to do more good than not. And when in doubt, we want to err on the side of generosity. To err on the side of generosity. What a concept. Well, it's our concept too. It's our precept. You know, on our website, we say that a person who sincerely follows the precepts would be honest, considerate, and well considered in action and speech, resilient, physically and sexually healthy, respectful, open, generous, compassionate, a protector of the weak, all from a more and more attuned spiritual base as he or she lived by this code and engaged in the practices. So, to you who follow the precepts and who engage in the practices, congratulations. It cannot hurt you, and it will certainly help you in many, possibly the most important of ways. So, if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything, please send them to me. Mark at naturalrightsangha.org. I'm very happy to work with people on issues. To, like, you disagree with something, let me know what it is, and I'll give you our perspective on it. You don't have to believe it, but at least you'll know better where we're coming from. There's no such thing as 100% agreement. You can say the earth is round, and there'll be a few people saying, no, it's not. There are all sorts of, we know this. So to expect everyone to agree with anything is impossible. But the precepts, I hope, are fairly universal. And I would question anyone who disagreed with any of them. So far, no one has contacted me to complain about the precepts and say this is wrong, this is immoral, this is unethical, this is not spiritual. Oh, I apologize for that noise. And no one has done that yet. So, okay, moving onward. And I'm going to turn off the noise on my phone, which I had forgotten to do. I'm very glad it had not rung while we were okay. Now, no more ring. Sorry about that. That was just a text message, but still should not happen. Okay, so now let's finish with the four immeasurables. The first one will be for I, or this person, you, and the other one will be for a larger group, at least as the world looks at it. So please repeat. May I have happiness and the causes of happiness. May I be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May I reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay, now we're going to do it for we, or you could do it for all. All would be even better, but I'll say we. You can say all if you wish, but you can do it for people you love, people you like, family, friends, people you have concerns about. Do it for the whole planet, every sentient being in the universe, whatever you want. Okay, we'll do the four measurables for we. So envision this as we do it. May we have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May we be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. You know what I just did? I reversed the second and third one. Normally, I do them in a different order than I just did. I don't know why that happened. It just seemed me open my eyes and kind of go, well, I'm not going to kick myself in the butt. I don't think there is a particular sacred, approved, have to be in this order to them, just like there isn't to the precepts. So I'll accept the fact that what's normally the second came out third and what's normally the third came out second. I won't assume I was wrong or have any expectations of being chastised for having been wrong. Well, hey, have a great week. Good luck if you're in a fiery place with smoke and fire. And may the zaniness of the relative world not nail you in too many ways while things carry on. So, see you next week.